Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Nice to have you on with us. We appreciate those who can come on live. We understand fully that not everybody can, but we sure have a faithful audience. And Father, and those who are coming on, we want to say hi to you. Our little roll call. Let me see here if I can find you guys in my feed. There I go. Okay, there. You hear me? Okay, so let me see what I see. Okay. Marilyn from Charlottetown, you're number one. Rain Cloud, Michigan. Nick from our staff, Nativity. How are you? Sandy. 2 Sandys in a row. And Sandy from Fergus Falls, Minnesota. And Sandy, Sandy, where are you? Where's the other Sandy from? Bonnie, Little Britain. Brandon, good morning. Francis Marie. Dennis. Fran, Orangeville, how are you? Deb, how are you? Karen. David from Ridgeway. Mary, Gander, Newfoundland. Nice to have you on, Mare. And Annie and Linda at the lake. Well, nice to have you on. Annette, bonjour. Deb, how are you? Cheryl, West Virginia. Georgie, Linda, we love Lindas, you know that. Maria, Ottawa. Gail, Saskatchewan. Fonda, PEI. Frida, Devlin. Shirley, Twin Gate, Newfoundland. Rosalinda, you thought I was going to miss you, huh? Luella, West Tennessee. Francis from Vaughan. Wanda from Virginia. Danny Lay from Iron Bridge. Dorothy, Sandy, Vancouver, Washington. There's Maureen from Boca Raton, Florida. And I'm going to say hello to Kevin. I'm going to say hello to Kevin and from Oshawa and Brahim from Portland, Oregon. The reason I do it is because they say they're always at the top and I miss them. Sully, Petawawa. Madeleine, how are you? Kippawa, Quebec. Dave and Lucrezia, Grace, Catherine. Fran says she's out of the clouds. Diane, Thunder Bay. Gary, how are you, buddy? Faith, Dave, Darcy, Rosa, Moriel, Lise, Rosemary, Brenda, Mary James from Anaheim, California. Hi, Rose from Brenton. Dave, Judy, Carol, Judy, Cindy. There's Kevin right there. Milika. Diana, I'm going to say hi to Doc McEwen too because she's usually there and I don't see her name. Gloria, Judy. Guys, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Okay, I want to just start off by talking about something that happened yesterday that I guys, you got to understand where I'm coming from. When the President of the United States had a news conference yesterday on autism. Like, first of all, I almost passed out because I never thought I would see the day where they're actually discussing it. And I give them credit because Robert Kennedy Jr. has been talking about this for a long time, that we need to get to the bottom of autism. And I mean it, guys, for the world to look at a disease like autism, something that, I'm not kidding you, when I was in school in the 70s, I never even heard of the term. We didn't use that term. I'm sure there was kids. Well, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure there was kids that were autistic. But today, it's more than an epidemic. It's one, like, you got to look at different statistics, but the numbers are astounding. Okay? And all I'm saying is, guys, I want this to be discussed. You know I talk about it on our platform, and we get out to millions of people. Okay? We're very thankful about that. And I told you yesterday, I'm a why guy. Okay? Why? Why do we see so much of autism? Why? Why, when I was in school in the 70s, and even after I graduated, never heard of it? For you new folks, I've told this story before, but I was actually at a conference, and one of my colleagues said that he had two autistic boys. I think it was 1979, the year. 79 or 80. He said he had two autistic boys. I said, okay, what's that? I didn't know what he was talking about. And, he filled me in. And here we are, it's 2025, and it's worse than ever. And I'm a why guy. I'm a why guy. So two things were mentioned yesterday. Let me just, because I think it's interesting to us. I know it's interesting to my audience. I know that. Okay? So two things, let me break it down. The news behind the news. They talked about acetaminophen, Tylenol, being a factor. Okay? And folate, or folic acid, a deficiency of it in the brains of autistic kids. Okay? Those are the two main takeaways from that news conference yesterday. And like I said, I'm almost speechless, because I never thought I would see the day that mainstream media would give any platform to doctors talking about possibilities. Why? Okay? And, okay, so here's me. Okay? Here's my takeaway, and you might have a different takeaway on this, but the way I analyze it is this, okay? I've always said, ever since I've had any kind of platform, and that goes back a long way because of my radio days, I've always said that autism was caused by leaky gut. Okay? Caused by leaky gut. Leaky gut, leaky brain. Okay? Now, where does Tylenol come in on all of this? Well, first of all, if you've listened to me in the past, I've talked about, I think, the number one cause of leaky gut is antibiotics. Again, wonderful thing. Am I against antibiotics? Not at all. I'm not, if you need them. Okay? They're life-saving. They're life-saving. Am I against them? Nope. Absolutely not. Okay? So you can't. I've been consistent. I never tell people that, avoid antibiotics like the plague. I don't do that. You need an antibiotic? It'll save your life. Okay? But it's a double-edged sword because, and we teach this almost daily on this program, you take an antibiotic and you wipe out. Yeah, you wipe out the bad bacteria, for sure, it works. Now, there's a little asterisk there because now antibiotics are not near as effective as they used to be because we use them too much. And you get a resistance. Bacteria are intelligent. They develop resistance to antibiotics. That's a major problem in our world today. Anyway, that's over here. Let's leave that over there for a second. Antibiotics change your microbiome. Leaky gut, leaky brain. That's me. I've been consistent. And then we get Harvard, because that's what they did. They looked at studies, and the Harvard School of Public Health said, we're warning mamas, okay, in pregnancy to be careful. We want to put a warning out on Tylenol because there's a link, they say, between Tylenol during pregnancy and autism. There's a link. Maybe not the cause, but a link. That's what they said. Boy, even to say that, it shocks me, guys. It shocks me. But I appreciate it. Isn't it better to, before you take a Tylenol and you're pregnant, ladies, there's a warning there. They want to put a warning out. Maybe if you can get away with it, maybe not do that. Because they said there's a link. Okay? And my thinking, and I think I'm right about this, is what does acetaminophen do? What do over-the-counter Tylenol, Advil, Motrin, whatever you want to name it, they change your microbiome. They change the microbiome. Maybe not quite as bad as an antibiotic, but have I not been consistent about that? And listen, I don't want people to leave the planet. Dr. Martin, I got headaches. They're so bad I can't function. I need a Tylenol or whatever. Guys, all I'm saying is, when you do that, replace that bacteria, regenerate, replenish, regenerate, replenish. Because your microbiome is getting affected. Antibiotics, anti-inflammatories, over-the-counter, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. And Tylenol, they don't often put that one in the category, but it doesn't matter. It's still, that's what it does to people. And I think, and this is just me, because they talked about folate, B9. Vitamin B9. There seems to be a link. They can't, autistic kids can't seem to absorb it. So they were talking about that, and actually a medication that helps with absorbing the B9. I bring that back, by the way, to the same problem. I bring it back to the gut. Mommy's gut, baby's gut. And leaky gut, leaky brain. Guys, you want to show me new information? I'm all for it. I try and read every study known to man. I try. A lot of times you're giving me a study. Okay, and I read it. I look at it. And if it's on health, I'm interested. If I'm really interested, I bring it to you. I bring it to my audience. Here's what this study is saying. Hey, But anyway, like I said, for me, I was shocked. I was shocked. Because you couldn't even go there. I'll give you an example on vaccines. Okay? On vaccines. You couldn't talk about it. You couldn't talk about it. During the pandemic, you couldn't talk about it. Not on a public platform like mine. You couldn't talk about it. They wouldn't let you. They were going to cancel you. So I like it. Like it's a breath of fresh air. I mean, even if people say, well, you know what? I don't accept that about Tylenol. I heard that. I've heard some major pushback on that. Okay. You have a right. People have a right to their opinion. I'm all for that. I'm just telling you what I think. I still hammer down on leaky gut, leaky brain. So my recommendation during pregnancy, my recommendation, and you can go back. I wish you could go back to my radio days because again, consistent. What did I tell women during pregnancy? Probiotics. The last 40 years, probiotics. Replace that. Replenish, renew. Replenish, renew. Broad spectrum probiotics. Gut-brain connection. It's my go-to. Absolutely need them. And when you're pregnant, even more. And now, I'm tripling down on it. I'm tripling down on it. Probiotics. The other one, vitamin D. Always have I emphasized the importance of vitamin D for mommy and baby. Consistent. Baby needs vitamin D. Brain's development needs vitamin D. You get a lot of pushback about that. And, but I gave information that was up to people to make decisions. I never put a gun to anybody's head, ever. Hey, here's what I recommend based on years and years of experience. So protect the gut, protect the brain. Vitamin D, and then, because there's research showing this. There's research showing this. Yeah. DHA for the brain. Omega-3 for the brain. For baby's brain development. And you might as well give the baby DHA. Why? Well, because their brains are made up of DHA and cholesterol, by the way. Okay? Fat. So that was me. Consistently telling women during pregnancy. And of course, they, like doctors have often warned, be careful, when you're pregnant, like avoid alcohol and that kind of stuff. But I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't think doctors knew any connection between Tylenol, for example, because it's over the counter. You got a headache, even during pregnancy, it must be safe. And now they're finding out, maybe not. Maybe not. So anyway, like that, from my perspective yesterday, I was literally shocked that they would go there. Boy, anyway, I know there's some people in my audience that don't like Robert Kennedy Jr., okay? They don't, because I've seen it on my feed. Well, I don't know him personally, but he's been consistent because I followed him for a lot of years because I watched him sue pharmaceutical companies. He was a lawyer. And he'd go after. And he protected the injured. And you know what? That didn't make him popular. But he was used to going after the big guys. And guys, like I said, I don't want to get rid of all the pharmaceutical companies. I don't. They talked about a medication yesterday. I'd never heard of it. That is showing some promise because it helps with the conversion of B9, folate, in the brain of the autistic children. Am I against that? I'm not against that. I'm not against that. I want mummies to win and children to win. Autism. It's horrendous. I have it in my own family. I've seen it. Horrendous. Anywho, I said, okay, I said when I saw it yesterday, I listened to it, I broke it down, and I had to because the main news people, they cut it out. They give you a bit and then they cut it out. That didn't surprise me. But with social media today, you can watch the whole thing. It's, but it didn't surprise me that they cut it out. First of all, they have programming. But second of all, I don't have blinders on. That's, the TV, big time, is sponsored by Big Pharma. Is it 70 or 80% of their commercials? It's crazy, especially during prime time. It's commercial after commercial of pharmaceuticals. And there's a lot of money involved. That's why it's surprising me to some extent that they're doing that. Okay? That they're doing that. Okay. There was a couple other studies. Let me see that I didn't cover. So I want to do this one because somebody asked me this, and plus there was a story on this, how to get off blood pressure meds. Well, again, I don't tell anybody to get off their meds. I tell them, let's get to the root of the problem, and then you can discuss that with your doctor once your blood pressure is normal. Okay? Because I just give information. You can understand, I can't tell a person when they're not my patient. I was always big on fixing you. Okay? So when I had a patient and they had high blood pressure, I said, well, high blood pressure, by the way, is just a symptom. It's just a symptom. And if you're taking meds, you're putting a Band-Aid on it. Now, I'm not telling you not to put a Band-Aid on it. I'm just telling you, you're not fixing the underlying issue. So, what would I do if I had high blood pressure? Okay? And the number one thing, I go to diet. I always go to diet first because it has a lot to do with the diet. Most high blood pressure is caused by kidneys. Most, not all, most. Okay? And I wanted to get to the underlying condition. So medicine, in general, not always, but in general, they look at, you've got high blood pressure, cut out the salt. I said, well, you got the first letter right, S, but it's not salt, it's sugar. Cut out the sugar. I said, watch what happens. I used to tell patients, look, you got high blood pressure? Okay? Give me just 2 weeks. I didn't need 30 days. Just give me 2 weeks. Do what I tell you for 2 weeks, and let's see what happens. 2 things. Cut out sugar. What? Cut out sugar. Not salt? No, sugar. What about salt? I don't care. You like salt? I got no problem with it. But here's the second thing, because it's really important too. Cut out sugar and drink water. And only water is water. I don't like water, Doc. I said, suck it up, buttercup. You'll get used to it. You'll thank me later. I used to talk like that. I still do. Suck it up, buttercup. You're dehydrated. You got 60,000 miles of blood vessels. And it needs water to move. You got blood like molasses. And that's putting an enormous pressure on your heart, plus your kidneys. So, cut out sugar. Oh, I love sugar. I know. Stop it. And drink water. They what? It can't be that simple. I said, well, when you're dehydrated, it is simple. And it's affecting your kidneys. And your kidneys are retaining water because you're not drinking enough. What do you think it does? And when you're eating sugar on top of that, your kidneys retain water. Sugar dehydrates you. You know, somebody yesterday, and you know, I don't know if they thought they were going to get away with it. Because I saw it on our private Facebook group. They put up a doctor, whatever, that said that Dr. Martin is a quack. Well, he's right about that. But he was saying coffee's bad. Don't do that. Well, you can do it. No, actually, I don't care. You want to put that up? Go. But you just got to understand, I'm going to push back on that. Okay? Because coffee dehydrates. No, it doesn't. No, it don't. It don't do that. Coffee's actually good for your blood pressure because of what it does to your blood vessels. It protects them. It elevates nitric oxide when it opens up your blood vessels. That's what coffee does. Anyway, when someone posted it, that's all right. I want that. I want everybody to think. I want everybody, information provides choices. But you guys admit something. I know you would. Dr. Martin, he's consistent. In the 70s, I was screaming about how good coffee was for people, and boy, did I ever get it. I don't care. I said I'm right about it. You look at the nutritional profile of coffee and you go, holy smoke, what a gift that is from God. It's a gift. Enjoy it. Anywho. Okay, but I'll go through the other stuff. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We'll talk about what would I do if I had high blood? Well, number one, like I said, I did this for years in my office, okay? I said, you're going to do two things, okay? Cut out sugar and just see what happens. And drink water and see what happens. Amazing. Amazing what happened. I mean, a lot of other good things happened too. But amazing what happened to blood pressure with just those two things. I'm not saying they're the only two, but I started there. Every time. Every time. Cut out the sugar and drink water and coffee. You can have a coffee. They were always surprised by that. A doctor saying you can have coffee? Like, I know they don't tell you can have a coffee. They usually tell you don't drink coffee. Okay? I said, no, enjoy the gift. Anywho, okay, guys, thank you. We appreciate it, okay? Now remember what's Friday. I always say this, but I got to say it again. Q&A, get your questions in. info@martinclinic.com. We appreciate it. We love you. We want questions. Ask, and you shall receive. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened unto you. I'm quoting scripture, but has to do with Q&A Friday. Okay. Guys, we love you. Talk to you soon.